Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Ernest Ramos. I ride electric skateboards and review stuff. And today we will be revisiting the Miles Rampage. Now you see in most of my ride videos I'm riding this thing. It's not completely stock since I unboxed this in January. It's not entirely stock since I received it back in January. I replaced a lot of things and modified a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna go through all those mods right now, starting from the front and going to the back. On the front I got two Rock Bros V9C headlamps. You can see my review. I'm gonna link my review up there. I replaced all the mounting hardware because when I installed the shred lights down below, the stock bolts that came with the board were too short, so I had to replace those. You saw my previous video, I replaced all the thread inserts here, and at the back I also replaced those hardware. Okay, down here in the motor mounts, the Rampage was pretty notorious for having plastic motor mounts, and yeah, that wasn't good. The plastic motor mounts would flex, and it would give you an inconsistent belt tension. So now with these aluminum motor mounts, I am able to run the belt much looser, which is better for the motors. It also gives me a nice grab handle here. Going down here, the motor mount bolts I replaced all with M5 bolts. The M4 bolts have been known to shear off. So if you own a Rampage or basically any Raldey board, Raldey, yeah, whatever. If you own a Raldey or a Raldey board, you might want to check into those motor mount screws. If they are M4, you would want to replace them with M5. The thing is though, with M5 bolts, you're gonna have to go drill and make the hole larger so that to fit the larger bolt. There's been a lot of interest on these custom motor mounts at the Miles Owners Group. Just to give some information, I had these made out of billet aluminum, and I didn't make these myself. My friend has a machine shop. Well, technically his uncle has a machine shop, and I sent him the entire board along with drawings on what I want the motor mounts to feature. Basically I asked him, I wanted a handle, so I told him where to put the handle, and yeah, they basically copied the original motor mounts into aluminum. Yep, here it is. It's about 10 millimeters thick. It's solid aluminum. It's really solid, really rigid. I think the trucks would break before these would break at this point. There used to be a rubber gasket here, just to add more rigidity to the drivetrain. We opted to use a brass insert instead. So the brass, being a slightly softer metal, would still provide a bit of dampening, I guess. Yeah, but so far, even without the rubber gasket, I don't feel any extra vibrations from the drivetrain. I think it works well. Yep, and evidence that this is a Raldey board. Going down underneath, I replaced the bushings with some Riptide bushings. I believe this is a 93A durometer in the front. I have to check again. And a 96A down at the rear and on the roadside. I am using cones, short cones, up on the roadside. Going back here on the bottom, you can see I've scraped the bottom a lot. The deck is pretty flexible, so when you got high speed bumps like what we have here in Manila, well, expect to scrape the bottom. You could even see some yellow speed bump paint there. Well, it's part of owning a board here. So far, the deck has held up pretty well. I've heard some people, some news on people snapping their decks here. So I've been keeping a close eye here on the edges, and this one is a scratch. I scratched this while installing the truck, so yeah, that's not a crack, that's a scratch. Yeah, I've been keeping tabs on the mounts. So what I guess is what I did here is I installed the shed lights down on the bottom. It's not as visible as if you put them on top, but it gives a larger surface area for the bolts to hang onto. So I guess that reinforces the area here, and it doesn't put as much force into the holes in the deck. Same here at the back. So going back inside the board, I did some surgery inside the enclosure. There's a particular connector that connects the ESC to the battery. The connector is leaning against one of the enclosure baffles, one of the baffles in the enclosure. So I had to make a small cut on the enclosure just to free off the connector from any stress. The board is very stable, even with the cone bushings, and a good side effect of using cones is that it's really carvy. Maybe there's a bit of a wobble. Let's just tighten a tiny smidge. So I tightened the trucks about a quarter turn each on the roadside. I think the board side bushings are okay as is. So, yeah. Very stable. I am enjoying this. Hi.
Nagpapasindo ako ng mesa.
Wow!
Cool. Thanks. Vikings, as always, have been horrible in this road. One of the biggest conveniences of having this motor mount, I have a handle. Also, if you own a Rampage, I don't know if it's the same with the Raldey. The motors can get quite warm if you ride it pretty hard. I've been gunning the throttle, going full throttle most of the time, so the motors are warm. They're not too hot to touch, but they are warm. I wish I had a temp gun, but I don't. But now that the motor mounts are aluminum, it sucks out the heat from the motor. You can actually feel the warmth of the motor through the handle. Yeah, any heat that gets pulled away from the motor is good. Checking down the ESC side, it's okay. It's just warm. It's not hot. So yeah, so far you can see how much sweaty I am. Given how hot the weather is here in the Philippines, I am pretty glad that the Rampage is not overheated on me. These were the original motor mounts. Now they are plastic, but there's a it's reinforced with metal inside. Yeah, even with the metal reinforcements inside, I don't know if you can see it. You can see it there. It's actually rusting. Even with the metal reinforcement inside, it's still flexed a bit. So I was actually forced to tighten up the belt tension more than I'd want to, and I don't think that was pretty good to the motors. Yeah. If you don't know how to adjust the belts on a belt drive, go watch Daniel Kwan's video. He does an excellent video on how to adjust belts. Yeah, so these are the bag of screws that got replaced. Yeah, it's a good collection, paperweight. So yeah, will I recommend the Rampage now? I really feel sad to say this, but no, I don't recommend it. It's just too much stuff to do. Well, if you bought it at the price that I did, which was $750 including shipping, it's pushing it. It's pushing it. Maybe because the motor mounts cost about $130, $150 to make. So it's like, if the board came with an aluminum mount, like say the Wowgo or the own boards, those are at about $1,000. So if you add that to the $750, so you got about $900, you still end up with a slightly cheaper board. Yeah, but then you also have all the hassle of replacing stuff, changing all the hardware, getting thicker screws. Yeah, it's not worth the hassle. I did enjoy it though. I like tinkering with stuff, so I didn't mind it at all. So yeah, keep that in mind if you want to buy the Rampage or any of the Raldey boards. I think they have a Raldey version of this now. It's probably gonna have the same issues. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the board, but I'm willing to bet it's probably gonna have similar issues. Yeah, but other than that, it's an enjoyable board. It's very comfortable to ride. It's got just enough power to be fun. Its top speed, it doesn't quite reach the top speed that it advertised, but it's still fast enough. At I clocked it at 39 kilometers per hour, so that's about 24 miles per hour. So it's up there. It's up there with most other boards, so that's fine. Yeah. So I hope that you like what you watched here. If you have more questions about the Rampage, please let me know in the comments below, and I'd be glad to answer that. So yeah, please leave a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again in the next video. See ya.